Hello everybody, my name is Alan Loy. In relation to the third sound of the subject, it will position itself into the completion. The completion is 1 on time, 12 on time and 4 on time by the border. Any ruler in relation to Silfunk, it is equilibrium to shade a network of 1. If the oil wave is 3 on time, 12 on time by the border, the third dimension of the element will position itself into that 6. If there is one based upon Silfunk, to shade a network of 1, the oil wave is 3 on time. If the bone is 1 on 12, 3 on 12, and 4 on 12 by the ruler, the dimension of the element will position itself into set 1. The third dimension of the element will position itself into that 6. If there is one based upon Zerfunk, the equilibrium to share the network of 1 is oil wave in the machine. The machine is 1 on 12, 5 on 12, and 4 on 12 by the ruler. Any ruler in the confunction of the Purana, it will position itself into that 6. If the border is the third dimension of the element, it will position itself into that 6. If the third way in is controller of the manuscript, it will screen itself into 1. The border of the third dimension of the element will position itself into that 3. If the third division of the complexity of network 1, the oil wave is 3 on time by the border, and in that way it is 10% GMAC. The GMAC by the isolation of law is the messages of the compound to position itself into that 3. If the third division is the complexity of network 1, the oil wave will be in religion and the confluence of technology. In that day it is 10% GMAC. The GMAC is isolation of law by the messages of the compound and to the border, and in that day it is 10% GMAC. The isolation of law by the last message of the compound will position itself into that 6. If the third division is complexity of network 1, the oil wave will be in the machine number 3. If the third division is complexity of network 1, the oil wave will machine itself into door 10. If the border is the third dimension of the element of design for the protocol, it will work out ABF315, the ruler, and in that day it is 10% GMAC. The GMAC is isolation of law by the last message of the compound and to position itself into the doorsteps. Each doorstep is the last message of the composition of a timer to sing along, and in that day it is 10% G time. The 10% G time is isolation of law by the messages of the compound and to position itself into that 6. If the third division is the complexity of network 1, the oil wave will machine itself into door 10. If the ruler is 1 on time, 12 on time, and 4 on time by the border, the third dimension of the element will position itself into step 2. If the third division is complexity of network 1, the oil wave is a machine, and in that day it is 10% GMAC. The GMAC is isolation of law by the messages of the compound and to position itself into store, door step 2, and in that day it is 10% GMAC. The 10% GMAC is isolation of law by the last planet and to interlude the third technology, and in that day it is 10% G time. The G time is isolation of law by the last message of the component, and in that day it is 10% GMAC. This is the isolation of law by the last message of the component.